You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club.
Just put it down, DL.
Yeah, I don't want.
You don't want to look like a lush early in the morning.
We got some special guests with us this morning.
I know my counselor's going, what is happening here?
DL Hughley and Jasmine Saunders. Good morning, guys.
What's happening now? How you doing,
These are my
man?
people, man. Me and Jasmine go back about a decade or so.
Yes. Keep those secrets, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because that's what they do at the
Keep
Breakfast
those
Club.
secrets.
They don't never tell secrets.
That's our job.
Yeah, me and your marriage just broke up from leaving here, Jack.
Fortunately, DL tells his own secrets,
I do.
so we don't have to worry
You
about
want-
it.
you
You
want-
opened
Yes,
up.
he
You
does.
opened up with.
How was your
with
name
Angela Yee.
DL, but you always so open?
You know what it is? When me and you talk, I'd rather tell on me than you tell on me.
There you go.
I'm going to tell on myself.
Right.
I'm not going to have you hanging me out, jamming me up.
But nobody was going to tell that story. That story was kind of
Oh,
hidden.
no, somebody was.
Somebody was gonna
What
tell.
story?
No,
You talking
Somebody
about?
was.
she did Yee's podcast. He did Yee's
Lip
podcast.
service.
Lip service.
And on the podcast, what happened, Yee?
Why
How
don't
did
you
you get? How did you
DL's
get him so
right
open?
here.
Yeah,
You can
DL's
ask
right
him.
here. Why don't you ask
Well,
him?
I don't even know how it came up, but I know that it had been bubbling around that, people were saying that they were going to start telling a story. I had a side baby. And you know when a dude got a side baby because the picture be in the back with the receipts, not with the front wallet, They be in the back with the receipts.
Oh, your real kid in the front of the wallet. What's the little boy in the back?
Oh, it came with the wallet. Oh, but that's a leather wallet. Black kids come in vinyl. They don't come in. But and I talked about how I had a baby and on the side, and that my baby's mother boyfriend killed a baby, and so it had bothered me all the time. But ultimately, it was we had talked about it on my radio show, but people were talking about, we gonna tell now. All right, nigga, I'll tell. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now my wife ain't spoke to me since, but that's not the point.
Is that
The
true?
point- No, she knew.
I thought she already knew. Yeah,
She did. So, but I think anytime a woman can know something, but when everybody knows, it brings it back
Yeah.
up again. It's not exactly the most pleasant. And I could tell something's going on because I called Jab. I said, "What are you doing?" She said,
I
"Nothing."
said, hey,
And then so
you're trending again.
but what's the point of having a microphone and you don't and all you do is talk about what other people do and never what you do?
And your wife's probably mad because it's probably her friends hitting her like, I can't believe
Right,
you stayed
right,
with him
right,
after
right,
that.
Right. Right.
They should be
Man,
there,
it's
like,
like
man,
you
you
hit her.
went through a
It's
lot.
like you were talking to her.
Hey, man, been there, done that. Not the side, not the whole baby. But,
Other things.
You know what? So one of my friends asked me for advice the other day, and I was like, okay, this happened to DL Hughley also. But he got his side chick pregnant. He hasn't told his wife yet. And he's like, I don't know what to do. How should I tell her?
Shit, divorce now.
Yeah.
And the
in
woman's
trouble,
keeping
bro.
the baby and everything, and
Oh,
he
that's
doesn't
a
know what to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I would never wish that on anybody else, but she's gonna find out. It used to be a man could have a baby, a family on the other side of town, nobody find out to the funeral like God intended. You know what I mean? Like who's that over there looking like daddy? Shut up and get in the car. They be arguing. That ain't your real daddy. Yeah, but ultimately it's gonna find because of social media, and it used to be a time when everybody stuck to themselves and nobody got in each other's business, but she's gonna tell.
But Jasmine, isn't that a deal breaker for a woman? Like, you can't give a woman an STD and you can't get another woman pregnant.
Absolutely.
I can't even ask you to stick around for that.
You got to go after
What
that.
about a curable STD?
Little chlamydia, little
No.
gonorrhea.
Little
A
chlamydia.
little calamity.
If a Z-Pack can take care of it, y'all
gotta
can stay together.
It's the second one.
All right, nigga, if it ain't cleared up in 5 days, it's all right.
You got to go. You got to put a time limit on it.
But there's a lot of women that stay with the man after that anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I just couldn't because I couldn't trust you. Because you were reckless, and now you brought reckless to me. That's a problem for me. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
I always wondered how this relationship came together. You
Well,
and Jasmine.
What happened was
Tell the truth, please.
She was
Tell
she was
us.
already
'Cause she will.
on the show that I'm on. She was already on the show with Skip Murphy, and I was doing Dancing with the Stars. And when it was over, they said you want to do radio, so you want to do radio. So I was meeting all of these people, and originally I wanted another woman to host with me.
Damn.
But they wouldn't let it happen, and they made me meet Jasmine, and I was like, I don't want to meet this girl.
And he said so.
Yeah.
We sat down, and he was like, you know you're not my choice. And I was like, well, why am I
God
here?
damn,
Right.
DL.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. I want to make sure he knows the truth. He's like, you know
Right.
you're not my choice. And I said, well, why are we seated? Why are we talking? I said, whoever you want, go after them, because if it's your show, then you need to make sure everything about the show is right for you.
Nigga.
Yeah.
And I said that under my breath. But I still want
And
to
then
do it.
I
I'll
talked
do
to
all
her,
right.
and then I talked to her for a little while, and I knew that she was. I said, this broad is talented. She's gonna be. And I don't know that I've ever worked with anybody as talented as her. I mean, I think it's like y'all relationship. You got to have people that get you, and they don't have to explain you. They just get you. So that's how we came together. Originally, she wasn't mine, and so she basically broke up with the dude she was with and came on my show. That's basically what happened.
DL's had such an
That's
interesting. Go ahead, Jasmine.
No, I said, that's okay. That I broke up, and it's cool.
DL's had an interesting career to me because, we all remember the Kings of Comedy. But then I remember when you got this show on CNN. And I remember thinking, I'm like, why did DL Hughley have a political show on CNN? But now, years later, I understand why you had it then. Back then, it seemed weird.
It's because it was out of place. I think everything comes back around. Like now I'm watching what's happening. It's such an interesting thing because I saw, like now we're so crazy. Like I watched Oprah's speech, and I was like, that's where we are right now. You could give a speech at an award show, and now you could be seriously considered for being president.
I don't understand.
And she was giving a speech in front of people that pretend to be other people for a living. It was a room full of people that ain't there for being themselves.
Right.
I was like, God damn.
I had to go back and watch the speech again because I was like, I missed the part when she said she wanted to be president. Like, why? What did she say in that speech that made everybody be like, she should run for president?
Listen, you could be proficient in one aspect, like Michael Jordan, a great basketball player, a shitty baseball player, shitty general manager of owner of a team. You can't. God don't give with both hands. Just because you're a great rapper don't mean you're gonna be a great clothing designer. That doesn't. And I think we're so desperate for something. Like I could see why white people chose Donald Trump. Because if you broke and white, you white without the privilege. That's like being a cop without a gun. Like freeze, no nigga, you can't stay. You a mall cop. If you broke and white, you have wasted your whiteness. Like you blew
waste a good white skin, like Mr. Paul Mooney used to say.
How you blow a 400-year head start? That's what I. If you broke and white in America, that is just. And I could see that they wanted somebody to they wanted a Captain Ahab. They wanted somebody that made them feel good about themselves. So I could see that. But now. When you pick, only in America could you pick a politician and the predicate is that they have no experience. Well, they never been to Washington. That's gonna be good for us.
Right.
That never has happened before.
Do you think that because minorities, black people, women, gays feel broken? We're not broke, but we feel broken. That's why we're looking to somebody like Oprah to save us?
Well, I think that they're mad about Trump, but I think you can't. Black women and gay people having a pretty good run right now. I mean, so that's
Great run.
It's like even that thing that happened with Genuine yesterday. This trans woman tried to kiss him.
Sexual assault him.
And
Call it
that's
it
what she
is.
did. She sexually assaulted him, and they got mad at the victim.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. Because, she's a full trans, so apparently they took all the male parts away and infused her with white woman privilege. Because only a white woman thinks she can kiss you and you supposed to want to.
Now, who was really mad? Because nobody that I knew.
Now, a lot of people on social media.
They had think pieces, Genuine.
Alive.
Pink News called India Willoughby a victim.
Wow.
Genuine.
people are
I
mad.
saw I think who was it? I forgot what article. Genuine's transphobic. I'm like,
Right.
how? First of all, the trans part has nothing to do with it to me. If somebody tries to kiss you and hug
you don't
you,
want
and
it.
you don't want them to hug you and kiss you, you have the right to reject their advances, and I should not be
That's the
shamed
whole
for
Me
that.
Too movement.
That's
the
it.
whole
That's
movement.
what it's about.
If Terry Crews is a hero, so is Genuine.
Yes.
And the thing that's funny to me is you ain't got to like everybody. I could be phobic. I could be bigoted. I could be. The whole gig is I'm not supposed to let that interfere with how you're treated. I could dislike you. You ain't got to like somebody because they're white, they're black, they're Latin, they're gay. You could dislike people. You just can't treat them poorly because of your dislikes.
Is that possible though?
I think that it's in a world where we pretend. The problem is that we pretend like we don't see the things we see. Like you could you could be a transgender. I get it. I understand it. But that you're not exempt from certain biological realities. You can call yourself a woman, but eventually a doctor gonna call you until you need a prostate examination. Like, Mr. Johnson, can you move your balls? I need to check your prostate. You could be whatever you want to be, and you can say whatever you are, and people could dislike it and have disagreements with it. But now we're trying to make everybody like everything just because we say so. And I think that part of Trump exists because people buck back against it.
But as a comedian, right, can you really enjoy it with people being so sensitive? Because now you just made a couple of jokes that I know people going to be mad at you.
Oh, they definitely gonna be mad
People
at you.
are mad at him
But
all
let's
the
be
time.
clear about
That's
this.
nothing new.
Be mad at DL,
Right.
all right, and not us. All right.
We didn't
I
say it.
literally could care less about.
There you go.
Listen,
Right.
dig it. If you dig me, fuck with me. If you don't. Like, it's funny because I'll do a show in front of an audience. Somebody will get a snippet of that show and get mad. That show wasn't for you. That's just like me making a tailor-made suit. You put it on, say it don't fit. Nigga, it wasn't for you. That's why it don't fit.
Have you ever said anything and been like, maybe I shouldn't have said that?
No.
In
Never.
retrospect,
I can't say I have.
ever.
I can't say I have because it doesn't come from a malicious place. I don't
Or
think.
you could say, I could see how that was taken wrong, and maybe I.
But that would mean I would put myself in their shoes, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, look, I'm not going. The only thing I'm an expert at is who I am. Like people have all these sensitivities. I just don't. I'm not saying that I can't see the validity to them. I just don't care.
And that's the thing too. I think intention is very important. But I think we live in a society where intention doesn't matter anymore. It's about impact.
Right.
Like what you said impacted in this way.
Right.
So we're dealing with the impact. It don't even matter to get on the man. Well, I didn't mean to upset you.
Or like H&M right now.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I was more mad at their parents than I was. Listen, white people have been doing what they've been doing for hundreds of years. You can't pretend like you don't know that they have ulterior motives. If my son wore a monkey shirt, I don't give a damn how much money they was paying me. You ain't wearing that. If you ever been to a photo shoot, the parents are right there.
Right there.
How much you can't expect people to be a better advocate for your children than you are.
Well, listen now, we don't know how much rent was in the jungle.
Yeah,
we don't know how much rent.
Right, you got a monkey. Like I got a son. My son is slow, right? My son has Asperger's syndrome, right? And there are things like I'll talk about it. Like he's on the show. Like he's primarily on the show because I don't want to leave him home, so he burned my goddamn house down. But
DL is crazy.
I don't.
Go ahead, DL. Go ahead.
But I'll have.
Come on, DL.
I'm serious. I'm not playing. My son hires hookers. Like my son.
I know, you told us
What do
on
you
the
mean?
service.
He hires like he broke up with his girlfriend and now he hires hoes.
And you're fine.
How old is he?
He's 28, but
What is that? What is Asperger's
28.
exactly?
It's
Explain to me what
Wait,
is.
hold on,
Like,
hold on,
you know,
hold on. He's 28, but what?
But in slow years, he's like 21. So,
Okay.
like, I didn't get the dude I didn't get the kid that was good at blackjack. Like Rain Man. I didn't get him. I got
What
the
is he
dude.
good at?
A Krav Maga, yoga. Like he's
very strong.
He's a Krav Maga. He's strong.
But all of them are
Yeah,
strong.
they are.
That's what I said.
Don't get
That's
that.
what I said. He's very
Yeah,
strong.
you sit there now.
Be careful.
My goodness.
Very strong.
My son hires hoes. My wife is mad, and I'm like, he hires hoes, and that's a better. I had to buy a house. You know what I mean? So maybe I should take one of them goddamn pills. I do not have this kind of perspective where that is. I love my son. He loves me. We have a relationship where we play. We get to work together, which is uncommon very uncommon. And I say what I say, and we love each other. But somebody looking on the inside out, they could have a different perspective.
How did you know he was hiring hoes?
Oh, because he told me. Because he had to borrow money all the time.
Right, you
And
paid
he
for
talks
it.
about it all the
Right.
time.
Dad, can I
He
borrow
loves
$100?
it.
So really, you're
I thought
hiring the host.
you said he works though. He don't make his own money.
Yeah, he does work, but sometimes he hired escorts, so he got to go to them. So
Have you ever met any of them?
No, I don't mean hoes.
You
That
never
ain't
fell
gonna-
in love
I
or
mean
nothing?
hoes.
Like,
No.
When you first had your child, did you think to yourself, boy, that's what I get for teasing some slow people back in the day?
I actually did.
Yeah.
And I knew right away. My wife wanted to get him tested. I'm like, you ain't got to get this boy tested. Come on, look at him. He's playing with his fingers.
So what does that mean?
No, you know right away. I was like, you could get him tested if you want to, but this motherfucker need a helmet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
Jesus Christ.
You can say.
But he lives with you, so the hoes got to come to the house.
No.
I
He
thought
don't bring it to the house.
Oh, okay.
Like he doesn't. Like my son was like he was so depressed at one point he wanted to commit suicide.
Really?
So I'm like, you just come to work with me. We'll work it out together. Whatever we got to do is what we'll do. And so he had a girlfriend at one point. And what I've learned is the secret to curing Asperger's is pussy. God damn it! I'm telling you, my son fucked his mind right for a little while.
Yo, you know what's so funny? Tiffany Haddish said the same
Yeah.
thing because she was sleeping with this slow guy named Roscoe, and she said every time he get in that poom poom, he'd get straight.
Yep.
He wouldn't be
for
slow
a minute.
no more.
That's what power
And the
is.
faces, you can't tell what they are anyway. So when they're making them, you can't tell.
It's crazy.
I would say anything.
Are you having a spaz or do you just like me?
I
don't know.
crazy, man.
I don't know.
How often do you cringe when you're on the air with DL?
Every day. And I will say, are you sure you want to say that? I think you're going too far. He's like, what are you talking about?
It's
I
already
don't care
came
what
out
you
now.
think.
Damn. I love
Jasmine
it.
ain't buying no home, no car,
No.
no nothing.
No, you never know when it's going to be over. I'm like,
But I will
I'm
say,
not
it's,
even buying a washer and dryer. I don't want anything I might have to take with me.
I
No.
like this whole like this sexual harassment thing is real, man. Like men had a run for a good while, but that's over now, right?
it's a wrap.
Like you can't.
But you know what, though? It is women's time to lead.
It is.
And when that time's up is actually a great hashtag, great slogan, because it's time's up on us.
But the whole thing about you got to be very girl. You look nice if that's okay with you. Like I don't want to lose my house because you got a big ass. That ain't. I don't want But I just want to know how far they're gonna go back. Like is it 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years? We're gonna go for the whole
Michael
ride.
Douglas had somebody from 32 years ago or
Yeah.
something just come forward.
Well, if we going
So
put
he masturbated in front
of him.
But imagine if we went back in time. Like Harvey Weinstein was horrible, but Thomas Jefferson was worse.
There you go. I swear I was thinking about this the other day because I was saying to myself, if we're going to start punishing people for atrocities of their
Right.
past, white people should
Right.
be shaking in their boots.
They should, and they would like Thomas Jefferson. Harvey Weinstein. The statute of limitations didn't run out, and Thomas Jefferson got a statue. So it's just not. It's bad. Yes, it's horrible that I won't give you a movie unless you fuck me. But but Thomas Jefferson, fuck
Yeah.
me or I'll sell your kids. So
Yeah.
like what? But I don't understand what we get angry at. But like you're mad at Colin Kaepernick because he led a peaceful protest, but you're not mad at Robert E. Lee who led a violent one. And to me, white people can keep the Confederate monuments. Just leave them out of black people's neighborhood. Our schools are so shitty and fucked up. We don't even know who the motherfucker on the horse is. Like, is that Seabiscuit? Why that jockey got a sword? I don't know what.
I think the whole thing though with Harvey Weinstein is right now he's still producing movies and still doing things. So it was important to do that at this time. It's still affecting people right now.
So
Sure.
so is the effects of slavery.
No, but I'm
Right.
talking about the fact that we could do something right now as far as getting him out of.
Get him up out of here.
Let me tell you something. Ivanka Trump is the epitome of what happens. Those men like that didn't get away with that by themselves. Yes, those powerful men did horrible things, but a lot of white women helped drive the getaway car. They pretended like they didn't see it. Like Ivanka Trump typifies a lot of these people who still went on and voted for Trump, who still went on and voted for Roy Moore Jr. You get to say how I support, what Oprah said. But one of the primary culprits is your father, who you normalize. So and they get to do it all the time.
And they keep voting these bastards in.
53% of white women voted for Trump. 62 voted for Roy Moore Jr. So let's not pretend like. And that white people, let this be a lesson to you. If you want black people, 98% of black men voted, or women voted, 94% of black men. You want black people to vote. Let a white man say America was better under slavery and ride in on a horse. Niggas saw a horse and went, we going to vote now. Baby, go get my 9 pieces of ID.
That reminds me of the good old days. Now, why are black people so afraid to call racist white bigots, crack ass
I don't
crackers,
know.
and white devils?
I don't know.
They get mad
Did you
at
see the
Charlamagne for
basketball
saying
team
crack
in
ass crack.
Cincinnati?
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's a basketball team in Cincinnati. The young white guys went out there and on the back of their jerseys, they had coon and Negro. They was
Right.
open with it,
Right.
flagrant. Why are
Right.
we so afraid to call racist white bigots,
We
crack
ain't.
ass crackers?
Why we ain't? And I think that ultimately, like when somebody says reverse racism to me, is like you have to have the apparatus that kind of infuses your racism. I can be a bigot at home, but if I can't make government or business work against you actively, I'm not a racist. I'm just a dude talking shit at home. But we're not the same. You can't pretend as if you don't see the things you see, because saying them out loud makes them have to know you saw it. And when they don't, people get away with too much. You can't tell me that Donald Trump's not a racist. You can't tell me that at all.
Right. I say the same.
You can't
thing.
tell
definitely
me.
is.
Now, if you might want to pretend like he's not, because that would mean you're an accomplice to his racism. But he is very much a racist. His whole apparatus is about that. And so for people, I don't think that you can say, and I think for a lot of people, they just kind of, racism will never really affect them, so they get to pretend like they don't see it. So if I don't see it, and whatever he does, I can just call it something else, then I don't have to feel bad. So I think that you're absolutely right. People should be called what they are. I've seen niggas too, so I can't pretend like I don't see them either.
Absolutely. I always use nigga in this
Right.
proper context. I be like, look at them dumbass niggas.
Right, that's me. Like Bill Maher said nigga on TV, they want him to lose. If every white person that said nigga lost their job tomorrow, nothing would be open. How come the mall is closed? Nigga, you know why.
Are there any new angles on the Donald Trump situation at this point?
Like everything he is, it's so funny. Everybody reading this book, like, and I had to go get it.
Fire and Fury.
And they're talking about everything they said. Everybody who really is honest knew he was a fucking dummy.
Word.
You can't pretend like you don't know. I can't vote for a dude I can beat in the spelling bee. You know what? You can't misspell shit on Twitter on purpose, that means you won't even listen to autocorrect. That means somebody's there's a professional thing going, hey man, that ain't the way you use that. That ain't the right word. And you go, fuck you, I know better. Come Fifi. That's what you do.
Right.
And we still don't know what that is.
If, like when he was doing the national anthem, either he doesn't know it or the motherfucker is really starting to have early stages of dementia.
Right.
Either he doesn't know it. And I know, like my old man, he got dementia, like, and so you could see, like, an evil. It was weird because my father's like a tough ass dude. He was like evil dude growing up, and dementia. That I don't remember, motherfucker. I do, and that's why you missed my baseball game. I missed your doctor's appointment. That's the way this shit goes.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yes, I can. My sister, Daddy don't remember nothing. You better go see him. He don't remember nothing. Well, tell that motherfucker I just left. and I'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Ain't burning my gas up. You don't know who the fuck I am. I could be a stranger at home.
That's real what you said about Trump, though, and that's why I'm not excited about the prospect of Oprah being president, because the bar is Donald Trump. If your reasoning for wanting Oprah to be president is because Trump is president, that's not a good enough reason for me. That shouldn't be the bar.
He's president because America dated a black guy and she liked it. Like, America dated a black guy and she liked it. And Barack Obama, like, if you believe that opening coal mines and factories is the way to make America great, you don't need a president. You need a fucking time machine.
In 2018, exactly.
Right. We're gonna put rivets on phones. What the fuck you do? Like, you can outlive your usefulness. That industry does not exist anymore because we don't use it.
You know how dumb you got to be to believe that coal factories are coming back? Yeah. Where do we use coal? We don't even use coal on the grill no more.
So what he did was made them think, like, literally, that when we were manufacturing in coal mines, that existed in the 50s. So you would rather have America go back 50 years than go to DeVry. Like, you would rather set the world back in time than actually try to educate yourself to the jobs and the opportunities that are available today. That's why I don't feel bad for people who are in these situations. When black people were in situations they weren't advancing, they moved. They went to Chicago. They went to New York. They went to Los Angeles. They moved to where opportunities were. You have the temerity to believe that those opportunities should come back to you just because you're white. No, be broke.
Absolutely.
I don't feel bad for that because we're like to me, this whole opiate crisis. Why is it a crisis when young white kids are on drugs? When black kids are on drugs, it's a crime.
Why are you answering your own question?
Yeah,
because it's young white kids.
That's his way.
I don't get it. I don't feel bad. Like, I don't want you. I don't want these things to happen. But I don't necessarily feel bad for them because you don't have that same level of outreach and compassion when it's somebody other than you. And all these women, they watched what Donald Trump did. They watched what more, and they still voted. So
I can't even understand the thinking behind that.
I don't understand
it doesn't even make sense to me.
Why we demanded more from Hollywood than we do the government.
Exactly. Or athletes. Like, and the whole, like, I'm mad at the football players because they're privileged and they shouldn't want to to cry injustice. Do you realize the very physical attributes that get you drafted in the NFL when you're a black man? If you big, you black, you fast, you strong. That shit work on Sunday, but on Monday, that'll be the reason they'll quit you. They'll quit the dude that kills you.
Mike Brown.
So you can't. People have a vested interest in saying what they see and pretending, and stop pretending they don't see what they do see. It's time out for that. Call shit what it is, and until we do that, like the whole Me Too movement, it got to be them too. You can't just, like when Oprah told that story about those 6.
There you go. Yes.
There were a bunch of women that were married to those men. There was a lot of women that didn't say anything. There were a lot of women that if it didn't affect them, they moved on. Well, if you're telling me about the Me Too movement, are we going back when as far as Jim Crow, when they could do whatever they wanted and nobody said anything about it? We got airports, schools, libraries named after people who brutalized us. Are we gonna fix that too? So let's say, if it's Me Too, how far do we go back? Because there's statute of limitations on what you find egregious.
Right.
Does it stop in the 50s, 60s? When is the moratorium up on being a shitty human being?
Right.
Clearly never.
Right.
So I think they should be held accountable.
Me too. Like, imagine how many black kids are going to schools or drive down streets or go through airports or cross bridges who are named after men who raped, murdered, and brutalized.
Absolutely right.
I grew up driving down Strom Thurmond Highway in South Carolina for years. Didn't
Right.
even think about it. So
Right.
I'm like, what? Why has he got a highway?
And the problem is, well, why didn't anybody say anything before? Because you got killed if you said something before. The makeup this we're having the problem in America right now is the idea of us is in conflict with the reality of us. The problem with America is we got Google now.
Expound on that a little bit more, 'cause I like that. The idea of us.
Well, we're a place where you can come in, anybody can be what they want, and we're this shining city on a hill. All right, that is the narrative, but is that the reality? We have black people in this country have never had modern schools built for them. They've never lived in areas that were built just for them. They've never had an opportunity to truly succeed on an equal playing field. Never. And what happens is if one successful person, if one Rose manages to go through a concrete, they go, how come y'all can't be like that? When white kids, they get an opportunity to fail over and over again, we're supposed to all be, we're supposed to all follow the example of the exception. This one guy made it so you can do it too. Barack did it so you can do it too. And so we have to start telling ourselves this country has not been fair, and it's never made an effort to be fair. And now it sees that over and over again, and it's mad that people keep saying it. It's like a mirror getting mad, like a fat dude getting mad at a mirror because he's fat. Right. Why do you keep telling me I got titties? What's that all about?
So where's the balance though? Because you want to encourage kids and you want to tell kids they can transcend their circumstances, but then you don't want to tell kids like, look, some of y'all gonna fail, everybody not gonna make it. So where's the balance?
Well, the balance is what our parents did. You got to work twice as hard to get half as far. You had an honest perspective. Listen, by telling me what the odds are and telling me what the drawbacks are and telling me the truth, you give me an opportunity to understand the stakes. If you tell me I can be whatever I can be, knowing that ain't true, and like I know my son. Some kids' son, like I see like people with my son made the honor roll. I'm like, my son found the school twice. You know what I mean? I'm just, you gotta have realistic.
Without the help of GPS?
Right. You gotta have.
But you want to encourage the kids, though.
Yeah, to follow their path.
Correct.
And that path to success is not like I have a daughter that is a cook. I have a daughter that's a producer. I have a son that loves Krav Maga. He loves the radio aspect. But I wouldn't tell them they could be anything they wanted. That's not true. I can't be anything I want.
All right, but look at you, right? When you started off as a comedian, I'm sure there's no way you thought you would be as big as you are. And I'm
You
sure
from
your
the
parents,
hood,
and I'm
DL.
sure your parents was like, hell no, stop
You're
this
from
kind
the
of
hood.
In the grand scheme of things, I'm what I've always been. I'm a cat who told you what I thought. So they might not have understood that I was going to be a comedian, but it would have been wiser for them to foster that aspect, regardless of where it led to, than to tell me to get a regular job. So I'm not saying tell people they're going to fail, but find out what they're going to be. Like everything you are, you were.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything you are, you were already. Now let's foster those things instead of trying to make people one cookie cutter thing where your idea of success is not, and my idea of success have to have the same kind of through line.
You know America's problem? America, and I've always said, I feel like our obsession with celebrity is going to be
Exactly.
the death of us.
Exactly.
And that's why I think we're in the position we're in now. Where we got a celebrity in chief in the White
Yep.
House and talking about putting another celebrity
right.
in chief
It's
in the
all
White House.
emotion driven, though.
Yeah.
Do you think
It's
America is the
emotionally
only
driven.
country that's obsessed
Yes.
with celebrity
Yes.
like
Yes.
that? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I think we chase the fame. And
That's
you see it on
celebrity.
social media all the time. People want to be on reality shows
Right.
because of fame.
And we feel like our lives, these kids feel like their lives aren't up to par. Like the cook is looking at the guy on TV saying,
Right.
damn, I want to be
Yep.
there. But you the
Right.
cook probably making more money than that dude on TV.
The thing about it is, and we don't even have a real, like in every metric, and you know this to be true, every metric that a country uses to be great, to assess greatness, like mortality rate, education, we're not in the top 15. America leads the country. We don't lead, not in income, not nothing, but not in education, not in infant mortality. Everything that makes you a great country, we're not in the top 15. But we lead the world in confidence. We're like a big chick, we're like a big chick who refuses to see how she looks in spandex. Like, whatever leopard or animal print you should at least be that same size. You dig what I'm saying? You can't. You should be the same size as a leopard. You can't. So and that's America. We refuse to see ourselves how we actually are. Like it's like, listen, you ever heard yourself on a recording And when you hear yourself, you don't sound like you because you hear yourself from the inside out. Everybody else says you from the outside in. That's America. They never really see how they are.
And until we deal with that reality, nothing's gonna change.
Honestly, not even. Do you really think that this dude right here is the best we could have?
Donald Trump?
I'm talking about the
I don't
best.
think anyone said that.
Hell no.
So you want this is our representation to the world.
That's
To the
their
world.
representation. I ain't
No,
vote for
you
him.
can't. We all listen. Either you voted for him or you didn't vote, which was voting for him. Either
I
you
voted for Hillary.
Yeah, I voted for Hillary.
No, I'm saying either you voted for him, or if you didn't vote, you still voted for him.
Yeah, true.
So you don't get no. Everybody got a chip in this game. You can't say this is not mine. This is America, and all of us live here. And all this is but it's a place that you can. I love my children. I'm not gonna let them do whatever they want. My parents love me. Well, now really because I pay their bills. But I'm just saying they fed me. But you can't have a relationship with something you love and not have the ability to be lovingly critical of it.
Now, this will shift gears a little bit. Did Bill Cosby really tell you he didn't like you?
Yeah.
Why? What was the
Well, he didn't like anybody like that. He didn't like nobody that said nigga.
Yeah.
He didn't like nobody that didn't do comedy the way he did. He didn't like that. I might not like a lot of music or a lot of way people do things now. It's like anybody, like every generation has that. But he really had a level of control, and like he really hated Def Jam. He hated it.
Really?
And it gave because it wasn't his kind of, it wasn't his get down, and he really tried to make them not do it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the whole label? He tried to shut the label
No,
down?
I'm not talking about the label, but
Def
the
Comedy.
Def Comedy.
the-
Oh, my bad,
he didn't
okay.
want that to happen. He didn't want it. He didn't like. Look at all those great comics that came from that lineage. All but it took comedy in a direction that wasn't necessarily his perspective, and he really was actively trying to stop it. He didn't want it to. He thought it was It's ironic because he thought it was a shitty depiction of black people, whereas drug and broads might be worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it definitely is.
It
worse.
definitely is worse.
Yeah.
I had an argument with him. He like, you say nigga, and I said, well, at least nobody wake up with their panties on backwards. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, because just like Hollywood, it was a known thing that Bill Cosby was doing this in the comedy world.
you remember when I was on Kiss,
Yep.
right? And he called in to do an interview. And me and Jackie Reed and another cat we had the morning show. So he called in. I knew he didn't like me, so I let them do the interview. About 5 minutes in, he was being such a dick. I went, hey, man, what do you want us to know? Who is this? This is D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley, you say nigga, you do this. I said, no disrespect, but at least when I say that, a co-ed don't wake up drunk with her pants on, or his panties on backwards.
Did you air that?
No, and you know
They
what
wouldn't
happened?
let them.
They wouldn't let me air it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Image came down. It's like he said, he said this ain't gonna air. I said because we were pre-taping it. I said the fucking ain't, and he said watch. And 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, those people came down and took that tape. Said if you air it, you won't be in radio again. That's
Wow.
a true
And so
story.
you can see why a woman would be petrified
Absolutely.
to speak
To
out
say
against Bill
anything.
Cosby
Absolutely.
because he could dead your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
That's crazy.
so I don't have the kind of you can be both. I think he elevated comedy to a level that we all have learned from, and it's impossible to have done comedy in the last 50 years and not have been influenced by him in some kind of way. But that doesn't mean he's not a horrible human being too.
But that's extremely, extremely hypocritical.
It is.
To portray yourself that way in the public would be doing that in private.
It is.
It's always people like that, though, that are so against something
Right.
that are the ones that have their own skeletons.
Right.
Just like when you see people that are so against homosexuals,
Right.
but then they're
probably
homosexual.
closet homosexual.
Right. You could tell because while they're talking about they're against homosexuals, they're doing it on their knees, right? So
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why?
I hate these gays.
Don't say it.
I hate them. And
No,
now
you
I
need
have
to finish that one. I don't want them to have,
Yeah,
I don't want them to
right,
take that
right,
one
right.
clip.
Exactly.
On the business that I hate these gays.
It was a joke. So yeah. Well, it's the thing. In context, out of context, anything sounds bad. But I do agree that people pretend the people who hate things the most usually are the ones partaking it. Yeah. They usually want to dig it.
Comedians are forced to be more politically correct nowadays. How did that happen?
Everybody thought we were the same. Like everybody thought we'd all have the same. It's another lie. Like we all had the same opportunities and we should all have the same kind of kind of perspective on things. But comedy used to be a place where you had to go and you wanted to hear something profane. You would have a drink and you would see somebody that's smoking on stage and they'd be talking shit. Mm-hmm. Like it was the thing you went to get away from your regular life. Like we used to listen to comedy records when our mothers would leave and fathers would leave. We'd go down to the basement and listen to some shit. Comedy used to be a thing you wasn't supposed to hear. So you knew that set it up. It was like that parental guidance, that parental advisory. You knew you were seeing something or hearing something you weren't supposed to hear. Now everybody's supposed to see. Like when Donald Sterling, said he didn't want no niggas coming to the game. I mean, because we're forced to be. Everybody pretends like people like each other. Oh, I love these blacks and the gays and the Mexicans. You get home, these niggas are fucking the job up. So, but there used to be a place where you could let off steam and you could be fucked up, and comedy was a part of that. And now everything has to be pristine, and everybody has to pretend like they feel ways they don't. And that's why I'm like me and George and Sid and Eddie on this comedy Get Down tour, because it's just cats who really still do comedy the same way they used to. And yeah, obviously it's taken, sometimes we get a lot of heat, but this is the way we do it. I remember I told that joke about Bruce Jenner and everybody like lost their mind. Like,
what was the joke?
I was like to me she looked like Mrs. Doubtfire. Like I don't get it. Like you, like isn't she beautiful? No. And I drink. You paid to look like that? Why didn't you just run into a wall? What are you doing? But you gotta, and boy, people were so mad, and I'm like, why?
That's not even bad. Like
I
there
can't
are
have an
beautiful
opinion.
transgender
Yeah,
women out there.
Like the girl Laverne Cox, she went she got the premium package. Bruce just went to Earl Shy and just said knock my. So you can, but to me, anything has the potential to be funny, or at least ironic, and I just won't do a comedy where I can't tell you what I feel organically about a situation. I just won't do it.
Where do y'all disagree at, Jasmine?
Everywhere.
I can see it everywhere.
That's why I'm quiet.
I can tell.
I want to be on my best behavior.
It's just too bad you don't do that on the radio show. No, stop it. Don't say that.
We disagree on a lot. Everything from relationships to a woman's role. See that. He can be, a little chauvinistic.
That's how we had fun with Dio when he came on lip service, because it was all women.
Yeah.
And him.
So
They all jumped him pretty much.
But we have an interesting kind of relationship. We fight hard. We really do. But then when we do agree on some things, it works.
Like we
It's
agree
magical.
right now, it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Now,
That's
I will
pretty much.
say, no, but it's 10.
Not when this airs. But.
Right.
Right. And he'll say, well,
Right.
no, it's after 10. It's like 10:07. I'm like, but it doesn't matter. It's like.
Just because you believe somebody has a different role doesn't mean a specific role doesn't mean you have a lack of respect for them. You
must be talking about gender in this case.
Yeah, I think like my wife doesn't work. She doesn't work. So if she makes a meal, I don't think it's disrespectful for her to make my plate. Me
neither.
I don't think it's disrespectful. Listen, here's the gig. I think a man's only gig is to provide and protect his family.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Protect and provide.
I think that's
it.
all they should do.
That's it.
And if they're not doing that, there's no reason for us to be here. But I also think sometimes that means I'm going to do things you don't like, and I don't feel like explaining them.
Like what?
Oh, I can't tell you that. No, I'm just kidding. Like I have an argument with my wife. She'll say, "How come you can do it?" Like I don't believe
Like
that.
do what?
Not
Like,
cheating, right?
Like for instance, no. Listen.
Well, clearly.
Listen. If she did what I did, then I wouldn't see her the way I see her anymore. If she was like me, then I wouldn't have like the
And
one
she
thing.
probably sees you differently now too, though.
Maybe, but if you were like, I think one of the things I lament about women is they have so much that they're taking the worst attributes of men like badges of honor. Like if he can do this, I can do that. But what makes society better is the way that we feel about women.
I think what makes society better is women because
Right.
they're just better than us.
Right.
And they've been tolerant of our bullshit
Right.
for a long
But if they start
time.
acting like us,
Oh,
then I mean,
that'd be
it's
terrible.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe like if it's late at night and my wife will say I'm getting ready to go to the store and it's 12 o'clock at 10 o'clock at night or 8, I'm not. That ain't no. Why?
I'm with you now. You ain't going.
I don't even get undressed till my family's home. From I'll fall asleep with my clothes on till my family's home. I'm gonna open your doors, but you're not gonna do some things I believe put you in jeopardy.
And that's an easy explanation though. Why you don't want me to go? Because it's 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
It's a bad element out there. I'll go.
Right. Or you won't get it. You could have whatever you
go in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Same fucking Walking Dead.
Jasmine and I will go to the store if we need to go to the store.
Absolutely. But that's part of.
But I appreciate if my boyfriend would be like, I'm coming with you.
Right.
See,
or
I went to the store to get tampons for Yee before.
Yeah.
It was cold outside.
Yeah.
Yee was like, it's that month, and I walked my ass across the street in the store.
But wait, though, that's
You got the wrong
different.
size.
That's different because what will
So what I
happen
tried.
is he'll just call just before the show because we're talking about the show or whatever, and he'll say, where are you going? And I'll say, oh, I'm gonna run whatever. But then if I say, so where are you going? His answer is always the same. Don't worry about where I'm going. You ask me.
Sounds like he has PTSD.
No.
He says, I don't think a man should have to tell a woman where he's
Or
going
child
or
where
what
he's going.
doing.
Oh, no, I tell my wife everything.
Yeah,
I got to check in with my wife.
Yeah.
Definitely got to check.
I don't believe that you like when I used to ask my father where he's going to see a man about a dog, and I would always go, nigga, why come we ain't never got a dog? Like he would always say that, and I never understood how come the dog never was there. Because what he was saying is none of your business.
Right.
I believe there's a reason that men die before women. There's a reason that we have some of the health problems we have. And it's because we spend a lot, and not to say that women don't, but I believe that one of the problems in our communities is that men have left women to fend for themselves.
Yes.
And they're doing their best approximation of what it's like to be a man. Or what I'm gonna do this the best I can in terms of this or that. And it's really blown the balance. I don't believe that we have the same roles. I believe our roles are distinctly different. And now they've become so muddled because you guys have to do so many things. I mean, like to me, if a dude ain't taking care of his family, I really have
You're
little
not a
to say.
man to me.
No respect for it.
I have
I
little to
just
say
think
nothing.
that roles are evolving because it used to be that men work and women didn't work. That's just how it used to be. We couldn't vote. There were a lot of things that we didn't do. There were times that we didn't even go to school. But as things are evolving, there's women that make more money than men do.
Sure.
There's it's a lot more happening now for women. It's just been a process, and now roles have been somewhat changed.
But
Yee is right, but here's the thing. We can evolve, but don't be like us because we ain't
Right,
shit. That's
right.
all we trying to tell
Right.
We're
y'all.
going to continue to be better than you.
Right.
But I'm just saying that roles have been evolving.
No. You're not better than somebody because you say you are. You're better than somebody because you actually are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you take on the worst attribute, if I don't care how pristine this water is, if I put dirt in it, it's dirty.
It's dirty. Word up.
And I can't understand why people think that the worst attributes that men exhibit are the ones that you gravitate to.
Why y'all want to be like
Well,
us?
I don't think
I
that
don't
we-
want to be
Yeah,
like me.
I don't want to be like a
Right.
man.
I don't want to do what I'm doing. I don't understand why I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, I don't think we want to do what y'all are doing. I think part of it is like I still want, just because you cheat on me doesn't mean I'm going to cheat on you.
Please don't.
No, I'm just saying that's
I'm
just how I
begging you,
look
baby,
at it.
don't.
But it
Right.
also doesn't mean I have to stay with you.
No.
And it's the repercussions from that could be I leave or I could choose to work it
Sure,
out and stay.
sure.
But I'm not going to do what you do. I'm not going to do something wrong just because you did something wrong or do something that morally I don't agree with or something that I wouldn't do as a person just because you did it.
Right.
But I think that a lot of people don't feel like that.
But I do think sometimes men have to put themselves in a woman's position and say, well,
I don't think
no, I'm
that's
saying
true at all.
think as in terms of how is this going to make her feel when I
Sure,
do
I
that's-
agree with that.
That's
Empathy.
true.
Empathy
that's true.
and sympathy.
But that's human. That's
Right.
that's the ability to be empathic. Like I don't think, like I remember, and I told you this on the past. I don't think men get to this place and they stop doing something. They just run out of wind. like men, men when they get right, it's because they ran out of wind.
It takes too much energy
You're
to
like,
lie.
That's
Yeah,
what
I ain't
my
got time for
ex-boyfriend's
all
mother
that.
used to say that all the time. She
Yeah.
said, listen, his stepfather stopped cheating because he just got too old and tired to run around. It was too much work,
Right.
too much effort. I had to wait it out. She tried to make me get
Nah,
back
or they
together.
could
I
be
said,
scared
nope.
straight.
Scared straight.
Or they don't
Yeah.
want to lose what they have.
Yeah,
But you wanna-
that's still the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
still
yeah.
the same thing. You know what it is? When gas prices was real high out in California, motherfuckers got right. Like that shit, I ain't got the money to go see. I got to fuck my wife now.
That's right. That's why. That is why men get annoyed when you on the phone with your wife and your wife asks, "Where are you?"
Yeah.
Because you're like, "I ain't doing nothing no
Right.
more." That's what you really want to
Right,
say.
right.
I ain't cheating no
Right,
more. Okay.
right, right,
That's why I'm really at the
right,
gym when I
right,
say I'm at the
right,
gym.
right.
Why are you bothering? That's what you
But
really
we
want
have
to
Your
do.
history.
That's
Your
right.
history, exactly.
That's right. Right. Like when you're talking about white people in the Confederate statues, we got our shit too.
There you go.
I told you it sounds
Like my wife
PTSD
called right
to
now
me.
when I was doing the interviews.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I said I was at the Breakfast Club. She'll actually look on Instagram to see if I'm where I say I was.
Who them women in the background? That's
Right.
Jasmine and Angela. Yeah.
But you got your history. where
Right.
you
And
better-
I never get mad about that.
That's right.
I never get mad about the things that make me mad is I'm not one of these dudes who believe what you, like I ain't going to church just because you tell me to. Like I think I have what, like the same people that gave you nigga gave you Jesus. I just can't reconcile. I can't,
That's a fact.
they gave you nigga and Jesus. Like they taught you a religion when they told you didn't have a soul. Like I stopped believing in religion. I remember when they used to say, we used to read about slavery, and they would talk about Santa. I'm like, wouldn't the kids, slave kids, they wouldn't ask Santa for a bike. They'd ask for their brother back. You know what I mean?
Or freedom.
Could you uncut my father's foot off? You know, so there's all these. Once you know shit, when you start to reach and aware of shit, it makes you feel hypocritical by pretending like you don't see it.
Yeah, I've never told my kids about Santa, and I always wonder, at what point in life did people get everything they wanted for
Right.
Christmas to make them believe in Santa Claus?
We never got everything we wanted.
Never. Poor disenfranchised kids should have been the first people to be like, ain't no goddamn Santa Claus
Right.
writing this motherfucking letters, and he don't never bring me what I want.
Jasmine, you believed in Santa? My parents
I
never.
did.
They never told me there was a Santa Claus.
I
But-
did.
I did, and I do it with my kids too.
believe in
It's not
Santa.
even the Santa. It's the whole feeling of wanting and waiting and being good and seeing their faces Christmas and how happy they are. And
What if
that-
they're not good?
Privileged people. They grew up
Yeah.
getting what they
I
wanted.
didn't, but
Oh.
I work hard so my kids
But
can.
but that's a different thing when you're giving them. My father didn't give me everything, but he gave me a work ethic. I defy you to find somebody to work harder than me. Like everybody's excited about seeing Black Panther, which I'm gonna go see it too. But I think if a black superhero had any power, it'd be the ability to make white people believe them. Like I think that's more important to being bulletproof.
Barack did that though. He made enough white people believe him to get in the White House.
Like I'm talking about in the jury box. Like for some reason, I think this nigga's innocent. What kind of strange black magic is
Hey,
this?
Johnny Cochran did. Johnny Cochran was a superhero.
Yeah, but I think, and to see that people are so excited about the fact that there's an imaginary character, a black character, like it's like I didn't watch the eclipse because if I want to see something rare that only happens once in a while, I'll look for justice. I ain't got to look up in the sky. I look in the courtroom. So to me, and that is my creative perspective. That's my ethos. That's what I believe. And I think that a lot of times people see that as negative. To me, it's just kind of the way. Like we have these arguments all the time. I think that I never forget my gig is to make people laugh, but we're gonna do it this way.
You're very smart with it. It's edutainment.
I try to.
What's your relationship like with Steve Harvey nowadays?
I love Steve. We talked at Def Jam, and my whole rant was about Trump and how he uses black people as caricatures. Like I'm so happy. Like Amorosa was the nigger wrangler. I'm so happy that this book Fire and Fury came out because she'll never get a book deal now. But I think that my rant was about the way that you could have a great intent, but he will always pervert your intent. Right. He never was going to meet with anybody, and any black person. To him, we're caricatures. We're ornaments. We're something to say. We're something to normalize. We're like one of those people. Like you know how somebody says, "I have a black friend." He uses pictures to say that. Right. Like everybody's his friend. You'll hear him talk. Oh, I know them really well.
He said that about Oprah. The other day.
Yeah.
I know Oprah really well.
Yeah, but I'll call her a name soon as shit gets filed. So my problem with Steve was never him. It was that Trump used him, and I was angry, and people misinterpreted that for me. I still love Steve. We're still just tight as we ever were.
Did he get upset with you?
Yeah.
Did he call you about it? Or?
Yeah, well, he didn't call me about it, but trust me, I heard about it. But I wasn't, like I felt like when he says, like he was on a show and he was saying basically why didn't he call me and before he made that rant? I'm like, you didn't call me before you went to the if he had called me and said, what do you think about me going to the White House? I'd have said everything I had to say then.
Yeah.
So it was never
Not the White House, by the way. Trump Tower.
Trump Tower.
Yeah.
So it wasn't directed at him.
It
What
wasn't
is
directed at him at all.
the code of comedians? Because Kevin Hart and Michael Blackson got into it, right? Because when everything happened with Kevin Hart and his wife and cheating, and then Michael Blackson was making fun of him, and Kevin Hart said like every day he was putting up a new skit, and so he had a kind of a feeling toward him about that.
His thing was
Kev was upset.
he was in the middle of the ish, and he felt Michael Blackson was making it worse.
Right, and we're supposed to be friends.
Probably, but we're also supposed. Like, if me and you are playing basketball, we're best friends,
Right.
and we're going for a championship, and I know you're injured, am I going to play you softer? No. I don't think that's the. I think the testament to friendship is knowing that we can have disagreements and misunderstandings and still be friends. It's not that we don't test the bounds of our friendship.
Nah,
but if you see me
it's different. It's a little different. Like if
Yeah.
you cheated, right? And Charlamagne got caught cheating, right?
Sure.
And you making fun of him, and you know what you went through with it.
Right.
And now Charlamagne's in the middle of it, and now you know you're doing the skits, and it's being refreshed every day, and his wife is hearing it every day.
Yeah, if you see me out in public arguing with my wife about me cheating, don't walk over there and be like, "Yeah, that nigga cheated, dirty motherfucker." And then
I don't think
Well, that's not funny.
I don't
If
think
it was
that's
funny.
the. I don't think that is the challenge. I don't think that a friendship should deny anybody their natural kind of thought. If that's his thought and that's his creative process, I would be irritated. But as a comedian, I would understand. Listen, comedically, every joke has a victim.
Right.
Everybody's the butt of the joke.
Right.
So I would make sure that it didn't come in a malicious place. And I probably wouldn't do it like every day. Every day, if I'm doing it every day, it's about some other shit. It's about me trying to capitalize off a shitty situation. If I do it just kind of once, and that's because it's so obvious. The first question people ask me invariably is, "How are you and Steve?" So I have to. I'm not going to be able to not address that.
Right.
And I do agree that if you're doing it every day and those skits every day, it is trying to take advantage of a friend situation. And that's fucked up.
Well,
but to have a joke about it, I don't think so.
That's interesting you say that because after the fact, Michael did this caption and he even said, "You fooled America long enough, you corny, unfunny motherfucker." So that lets you know.
Yeah, that's
It came from. It
Yeah,
was coming from
that's
somewhere
different.
else to begin
That's
with.
a different shit. That's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
That's it. Like I had a cat I used to work with, right? And he was doing this podcast a couple of weeks ago. And
You want to say his name?
No, I don't want to say his name because not because I'm worried about it because I don't want it. You would know him.
I already know who it is
everybody
because
would.
earlier you said another cat. And I
But
was like, he's purposely not.
I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him no shine. But ultimately, he was my dear friend. We were in radio. I had to protect him a lot. He quits the show and starts shitting on me. Now, whatever I did or didn't do, I protected you and put a lot of bread in your pocket. And when they didn't like you and when they tried to, they would, I don't know how many times they wanted to bring a fire in this cat, and I would not let it happen. So however I came at you, and you could be strong-willed and be, not use I'm not the easiest cat to work with, but one thing's for sure, if I'm with you, I got you. And if I got you, then I would have never let them do nothing. But when people do shit like that, when they try to emasculate you and know that they would never say that shit to your face, that bothers me. But all I can do is, I'm still proud of this cat. I'm still happy he's happy. But now I know that I went on my way for you, and you never appreciated it. You took my bread. You you living right now off the shit you saved, off the shit I gave you. And so whatever we have or don't have, I would never shit on you.
Is DL hard to work with, Jasmine?
He is.
But does he got you?
But he got me.
What's the hardest part?
The hardest part is I think I know he's just going to say whatever it is that he feels. And so sometimes that causes us to bump heads a lot.
Because you disagree.
That's also what keeps the lights on.
Right,
though.
no,
It does.
for sure. And he's demanding, but I get it because it's his name on the show. And I know that he has the best intentions for the show and only the highest goals for the show. So, he works a lot. I've never seen anybody who works like that. And so I look at it like, well, he doesn't take vacation. I'm not going to take a vacation.
Right. Because
he works so hard. I feel like I have to equally work hard. And so I think in the room, sometimes people feel, well, that's not fair. Or, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. But I keep looking and I'm like, well, if he's not sitting down with his feet kicked up, then how can I do that?
Right.
That's what we got. We fell out because I bring my boy on, and this broad is working harder than him. I'm like, how is he? All I wanted you to do is go to work. Like, it's like I felt like a woman taking care of a man, and he coming on playing Xbox. I'm like, nigga, you better go to work. Go to work. Like I don't take a day off. One.
Not one.
I don't take a day off. If I'm not on the road, or doing a radio show or a podcast or writing a book, I don't take any days off because that's not my thing. And I'm not saying you can't not take any days off, but at least look like you work. Like, you know how you ain't really working, but the boss come by and you pretend like you doing some shit. Do that. Fool me. Like my wife asked me, "Do you love me? Do you care if I love you?" Just pretend. I don't give a fuck how you feel about me. I care how I feel about you. If she doesn't love me and she's pretending good enough, I'm all right. I don't care. That ain't my thing. You ain't got. If you ain't, just fool me. I'm up for being fooled all the time. You fool me. Pretend like you working. Pretend like you trying. Like my kids do it all the time. They got me figured out. They pretend like they give a fuck about.
You walk in, they just start writing stuff.
Yeah. They got their heads clicking on the computer. I got a GED. I'm easily fooled. It ain't hard to fool me. It's not.
We can sit here and talk to y'all for hours. I just want to touch on this before we leave. I've been sexually assaulted as a kid, right, by a woman. How come men don't look at it the same way women do?
When I told you that story, right?
Yes, you did.
When I was 13, I liked this little girl. She was 23. Mm-hmm. And I liked her.
That's what I was thinking.
I liked her, right?
Right.
And I would always talk shit to her. Let me have it, whatever. 13 years old. Yeah, 13 years old. You don't know what you're doing with it. You don't know what you're doing with it. So one time she said, okay. So she takes me to her place and fucks the shit out of me. And I was 13. She gave me head, and I was like, "Well, ouch!" She's like, "Don't you ever say ouch when a woman suck your dick. Don't ever do that."
She might.
Unless it hurt.
I had no concept. So that was my woman to me. Like she was, you my man. So when she would come pick me up and take me over there, and I thought I'm gonna have to be with this woman forever. Like I had to marry her. Like she would make food with onions that she didn't know I didn't like. She would smoke in the bed after we were finished. Like I'm 13. I'm like, I don't want to live my life like this.
He was horrified by the way that she smelled. It smelled like onions.
Yeah,
because the same thing happened to me. I was 8 getting the head from my cousin's ex-wife. And I was all for it until she got a Jerry curl, and I didn't like the smell of the Jerry curl.
I wasn't. And then she I want you to do it in my ass. I'm like, I'm a boy. Boys, like I had no. So I thought I had to be with her. And one day my mother, when I was so, and everybody in the neighborhood was like, "Hey man, you getting that?" Oh, it was a big thing. So one time, she pulled up. My mother was outside. I go to get in the car, and my mother asked her who she was and how old she was. And she told her, and she said, "Don't you ever come around here again." And I get in the house, and I remember walking back to the house like this. Thank you, Jesus, because I thought I had to marry that woman. But that's not a negative. It didn't, I didn't think that was.
So you think, though.
I wouldn't think I was sexually
assaulted. You don't really know how it affects you.
Yeah, I mean, just dealing with it, just in therapy when you're talking about things that happened in your past.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I never thought it never bothered me either until you like, maybe that did.
I've been in therapy a lot, and I never have said that.
Really?
It's not a thing.
How many times did y'all have sex?
A lot.
Wow.
A lot. And it was the way I saw, a lot.
Because if roles are reversed, if that happened to my daughter's 9, I'd kill the motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, well, I don't understand why us as men, we don't look at it the same way.
Yeah, it's not until you said that you went to therapy and talked about it in therapy, I was in therapy for years, and that subject never came up. I never thought about it.
I didn't think it was wrong until I saw Tyler Perry on Oprah crying about it, and I was like, well, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, well, I think he had a different experience.
He said it was his aunt. But we don't. I'm just saying.
His auntie with a beard.
I just want to say that people don't know how certain things like that affect them.
I got a theory that Tyler Perry purposely makes black men look bad in his movies because he wants to have all the black men for himself. So he wants black women to look at black men and be like, I don't want to date that
I think to me, she gets mad when I say stuff like this. I think one of the gayest places I've ever seen is black churches. Like they're the gayest places.
Yeah.
Like it's three kind of dudes go to church: gay dudes, children,
and Tyler Perry,
and men who fucked up so bad their wife make them go. like no straight dude goes to church. Like if you go to church all the time and you're single, you're going to pray the love of dick out of your heart. You really are. You're not just. You're not just going.
Not true.
You're not. I don't.
D.L. Hughley, ladies and gentlemen.
we'll be getting letters.
Now you'll feel
But
like me.
just keep in mind, DL and Jasmine have their own radio show that y'all can write to and complain to.
That's right.
No need to email the Breakfast Club. They have their own radio show. They come on every afternoon in a lot of markets. How many markets y'all in now?
We just got Philly, Atlanta, Dallas, Cincinnati,
Woo!
Indianapolis,
Yeah.
Monroe.
Just send it to them. DL
Complain to them. What's your
Jasmine
email?
saw
Give me
this.
the email so they can.
What is our email?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
DL Hughley at something.
Yeah.
Definitely follow him. Real DL Hughley. Anything.
Yeah, email me and I'll do what I do with all of them. Not
Ignore
give a
them.
fuck. Oh my God.
But he will be at the Barclays.
Oh,
on
you're gonna be at the
Friday.
Barclays
This Friday. That's
Yes.
This Friday with George Lopez, set the entertainer Charlie. Or not Charlie. He's not gonna be here.
Rest in
but,
peace, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Man, I gotta tell you one thing about Charlie's funeral. This is how bad I don't like church, right? So I go to Charlie's funeral, man, and I loved him. Like it was, and the first 2 hours, like we all went and we were there, and it was sad. 2 hours went by, 3, 4 hours, 5. At 6 hours, I had been in church so long. I went, why didn't I die? I should die right now. I want to die, but I love Charlie so much. I stayed 6 hours in church.
You got a tattoo,
hours.
right? Don't you enjoy it?
Yeah. Mine keep rubbing off, but yeah,
What does it say?
darkness.
Darkness. Oh,
Because
that's
it remembers
dope.
the darkness,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want
What
to
you mean
thank
to keep
I want to
rubbing
thank
off? Tattoos don't
Jasmine.
rub
No, this one it's too high up.
Oh.
Yeah, it keeps fading, so I have to keep doing it. But.
I want to thank Jasmine for bringing me some tequila.
I did.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing me my bourbon. Can I do that? right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't drink it yet, so I
DL
don't want
drinks
my counselor.
bourbon, and so he had me drinking bourbon when we all went out the other night.
Yeah.
And I
So
said, I'm a tequila girl, so I'll bring tequila.
we like tequila.
I saw y'all in Charleston the other night. You was out there with Tessa.
Oh my God, I hadn't seen Tessa in like 15 years.
Tessa Spencer. Yeah.
She looks the same.
Why
She
is your
looks great.
tequila open?
Well, because I couldn't wait, so I
here we go.
I got up.
You drank some already?
Yes, I did.
She
I
got a
didn't
drink
wait.
dealing with you, DL.
Right.
She don't know what you about to
Wait, but
say.
you don't get nobody a
Right.
gift with a half a
Let me tell
bottle.
you something. I keep up last.
Well, I know the feeling. Pour me one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour a double. How about
And you'll be
that?
in West Nyack this weekend,
What's
right?
that? Mm-mm.
That's not this weekend?
Mm-mm. That's
Oh, okay.
when we're in at the Barclays Friday, and next Saturday we're in Seattle.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Well, thank you guys for
Thank you,
joining
man.
us.
DL Hughley, Jasmine Sanders.
Thank you guys. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.